How would the world's most notorious killers react when faced with a death penalty? Let's take a look. Aileen Wuornos. Aileen Carol Wuornos, a serial killer in the United States, was involved in street prostitution in Florida from 1989 to 1990. She killed 7 male clients, taking their belongings. Wuornos claimed she acted in self-defense because these men had tried to harm her, leading to her shooting them. She received a death sentence for 6 of these murders. Initially, she confessed to the killings and received multiple death sentences. However, her stories changed over time. She admitted to the robbery and expressed a desire to eliminate witnesses, contradicting her initial claims of self-defense. In 2001, Wuornos surprised many by petitioning the Florida Supreme Court to end her legal appeals and dismiss her legal team. She openly admitted to the murders, showing no remorse. She acknowledged the coldness of her actions, stating she would do it again. Despite psychiatric evaluations affirming her mental competence, she continued to insist on self-defense. During cross-examination, Wuornos became visibly upset, invoking her Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination 25 times. Her defense team presented her as the only witness. They also emphasized the behavior of detectives and her partner, Tyria Moore, questioning their influence on witnesses who might have exaggerated stories for personal gain. Despite these efforts, the jury found Wuornos guilty on all charges, including first-degree murder and armed robbery after a brief deliberation. She reacted angrily to the verdict. During the sentencing phase, she was executed by lethal injection on October 9, 2002, after spending over 10 years on Florida's death row. Marketh Lloyd. A judge in Florida sentenced Marketh Lloyd to death for the murder of Orlando Police Lieutenant Deborah Clayton. This decision follows a jury's recommendation of the death penalty in Lloyd's case, and more than 5 years since Clayton was killed in the line of duty. Lloyd was convicted by a jury for Clayton's murder during a search initiated after he shot and killed his ex-girlfriend and her unborn child in December 2016. While on the run in January 2017, Lloyd fatally shot Clayton outside a Walmart when she tried to confront him. He was apprehended a few days later. During the sentencing, Lloyd's family and attorney chose not to address the court, noting that Lloyd reacted emotionally with verbal outbursts upon receiving the death sentence. Court records indicate that Lloyd was found guilty on 5 charges, including the first-degree murder of a police officer, attempted first-degree murder, aggravated assault, carjacking with a firearm, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. In court, after pleading not guilty, Lloyd claimed he shot Clayton in self-defense. Following the verdict, he waived his Spencer hearing, expressing a desire to be sentenced that day. Lloyd mentioned feeling targeted, stating, "These people have been trying to kill me," and then conveyed his love to his family. Lloyd's mental health has been a source of debate throughout the case, but he was deemed competent to proceed with the sentencing and hearing. Clinical psychologist Xavier Amador testified that Lloyd believed he was a slave, with police officers and prosecutors seen as his enslavers attempting to kill him. Alan Lee Davis. Davis committed a horrifying crime in Florida, breaking into a home and brutally murdering Nancy Weiler, her 2 daughters, and her granddaughter using a .357 Magnum revolver. The brutality included beating Nancy Weiler to death with the gun's butt, while also shooting and killing her 2 daughters and granddaughter. Davis was arrested and charged with these 4 murders. During his trial, Davis was found guilty, and the judge sentenced him to death. However, controversy surrounded the case due to Davis being extremely overweight and having a medical condition affecting his breathing. Despite Davis's objections, the judge remained firm in condemning his actions. The judge described the murders as senseless, brutal, and depraved, stating that Davis deserved the harshest punishment. Ultimately, Davis was sentenced to death by electrocution, sparking a mixed public reaction. Stephen Lorenzo. Stephen Lorenzo faced charges for multiple homicides in Tampa Bay, Florida, alongside his accomplice, Scott Schweikert. The crimes involved the torture and murder of Jason Galehouse and Michael Wachholz over 2 decades ago. These gruesome acts occurred on consecutive nights in December 2003, causing shock and concern in the Tampa Bay area, suggesting a serial killer targeting the LGBTQ community. Lorenzo and Schweikert lured the victims to Lorenzo's home after getting them intoxicated at a bar, with the victims unaware they would never leave alive. In 2006, Lorenzo received a 200-year federal prison sentence for related crimes. However, he spent the last 5 years in Hillsborough County Jail pending his state murder case. During the penalty hearing, prosecutors presented evidence of the victims' mistreatment and physical vulnerability before their deaths. Representing himself for 6 years, Lorenzo expressed a desire for the death penalty, appreciating his defense team and showing gratitude to the judge for their fairness and patience. Ultimately, Lorenzo pleaded guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder and voluntarily accepted the death penalty. Evidence presented during the penalty hearing, including Schweikert's testimony describing their depraved plans, played a significant role in the sentencing. Despite information about Lorenzo's psychological disorders, childhood abuse, and adult relationship trauma provided by court-appointed lawyers, the judge determined these factors did not impact his decision. Judge Sabella referenced the victim's mother's words during sentencing, stating Lorenzo deserved the death penalty for his horrific crimes. That concludes this video. Hit that subscribe button for more. Thanks for watching.